Good morning from Mornington. Boy, doesn't that sound great? Good morning from Mornington is in Mornington, Australia, Mornington Peninsula, here in beautiful Victoria, Australia. And it is a Sunday morning, and well, it's looking like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. And I'm on my way to a little town called Ocean Grove that's on the opposite side of the Mornington Peninsula, and it's going to involve a ferry. So I'm waking up this morning in Mornington, and I'm headed to Ocean Grove, and I thought, two birds with one stone. I'm going to bring you along and share the experience with you as best I'm able to. I've got a drone with me, and I'm going to do some drone shots and stop in a couple of spots along the way. I'm going to drive the coastal route down to, I believe it's Portsea and Sorrento, and I'm going to bring you along. And I found myself here in a beautiful park, and this is where I'm going to start my trip, right here in this beautiful park. And just up ahead there's a beautiful beach. I think it's called Mother's Beach, but I'm just going to bring you along, and I'm going to kind of mix up walk and talk and height and sight. And as I do so, I'll pan this around and I'll show you the beautiful park that I find myself in right now. It's just really, really gorgeous, and there's a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are out and just enjoying there's a lot of people out enjoying a Sunday morning. Not too many people out, but there's a smattering of people out. And there's a playground here, and then just up here there is a statue, and this would probably be a nice spot to start my tour. As I was looking at this the statue from a distance, it made me think a little bit of the one and only Mr. Paul Revere. And I can't imagine that they would have a statue of Paul Revere here in Mornington Peninsula. And in fact, this isn't Mr. Paul Revere. This is Matthew Flinders, I believe is the name here. Matthew Flinders. So this would be a great spot to start my walk and talk and tour of the Mornington Peninsula. I found a nice pathway down to the beach, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Mother's Beach. And there's a jetty and a harbor, and no shortage of boats that are moored off the beach here. It's an autumn day, so unlike a Sunday maybe a month or two before when I'm filming this, you might have seen more activity on this beach. But I would imagine you could enjoy just all types of activities here, like swimming, and it looks like there's some folks out there doing a little bit of sailing. And all along the water here, I believe that there are some really nice little colored houses, if you will, beach houses. So look at this. Boy, it really is a beautiful morning here. You just wouldn't know, just walking on this beach, just what all is going on in the world. But look at this. Really is something else. I found this wonderful view looking down on the beach here in Mornington, and I thought I'd share it. That was a great drone flight, and there was a little bit of a difficult situation where, as a local resident, was challenging me a little bit insofar as my ability to fly my drone here, but we put that behind us by me showing him the government website. And this actually is an area that is okay to fly the drone as long as you're 200 meters above other people. So on with the next destination. There is absolutely no shortage of beauty here on the Mornington Peninsula, and I barely left Mornington, and I found this spot to stop and just share with you real quick. It is really beautiful. I would do a drone flight, but the wind is just too much right now to do a drone flight. But there's all types of people out there that are doing some windsurfing. And here's a couple out for a Sunday morning stroll on the beach. But it really is. What a special spot this is. I can't wait to get down a little bit further. You are looking at Mount Martha, Victoria, here on the Mornington Peninsula at high noon on a Sunday autumn day, and it's beautiful. What a beautiful place. And I did a little quick search on this city, or village if you want to call it that, and it said the quintessential seaside village. And it's a seaside town on the edge of a wider Melbourne of Victoria. It's 68 kilometers southeast of Melbourne. So it's on the southeastern shore of Port Phillip and offers a bathing beach. A boardwalk winds the way for more than 5 kilometers along the Balcombe Creek. So I thought I would just stop and do a very short walk and talk, if you will, down the street here. And there's quite a few people out just having a nice Sunday morning breakfast. And what a nice place. So I actually have not had my breakfast yet, and I might come back and grab a bite to eat here at Volpino. And I was just telling a friend of mine that this reminds me of a community back home called Glen Ellen. Look at all the stuff that you can do here. They've got the Dolphin Research Institute, Everyone Art Space, all types of stuff. Main Ridge Dairy. Boy, it looks nice. So it's just it's got a really nice vibe to it, if you will. It's just really a nice place, and the weather is just absolutely beautiful. There's a strong breeze coming in off the water, and I would imagine if I were talking in Fahrenheit, the temperatures are probably in the upper 60s right now, as I walk past a place here with all types of homes that you can pick up. There's a pharmacy. Rather a nice place. This is the Via Battista. They're now doing home delivery. And you can see there are no shortage of people out and about. And as I drive the Mornington Peninsula, I'm starting to think that this might be a nice place to try to ride out some of this terrible global situation that's happening as I'm filming this, known as the coronavirus pandemic. So it really is something else. So on with the tour. Here's the community notice board, which it's always interesting when you're coming to a place like this to take a look and see what's happening on the on the notice board, become a volunteer driver, Gardens for Wildlife. Boy, what a beautiful little place. And there's just all types of, see a lot of cyclists out. In addition to folks out on the water, there's quite a few cyclists out. And here is, you can get yourself some beach box fish and chips right over here. And that's about it. That is about Mount Martha as I see it, at least. So I'm gonna continue on with the drive and the tour of the Mornington Peninsula. You are looking at some pretty pricey real estate. These are what are called beach boxes, and I found my way to Dramana, and I think this is called Safety Beach. I could be mistaken, but these are beach boxes. And I just got off the phone with the one and only Carlo, and he was telling me that you're going to pay a pretty price for one of these properties. It's probably about 100,000, and they're not very big. They're not very big properties. They're basically sheds. It's a little tiny shed. I don't see any windows. I see a door, but I don't see any windows. I could be mistaken. And people are usually going to use one of these beach boxes for a store, to store a boat, paddleboard, whatever else that you might use for a day at the beach, umbrellas and what have you. But they are not cheap. And Carlo was also telling me that Dramana is a spot that you can actually still go and see a drive-in movie. But look at this. So here are your beach boxes, or as we might call them in the States, sheds. And I see some weather coming in. It looks like there's some clouds coming in, so I don't know if that's coming this way or not, but I'm just coming into Dramana, and it shouldn't be all that much further before I actually find my way down to Seaport, or Portsea rather, Portsea, and the area down there where I'm going to catch the ferry. But boy, what a nice opportunity to share this with you. What a special place, this I want to say the Monterey Peninsula, the Mornington Peninsula. All right, on with the trip. Next stop takes me to a little place called McRae. And I'm just trying to stop and give you a feel for the peninsula here, as if you were driving from Mornington down to Portsea yourself. And people are out and about. You can see here's this lovely lady that was just confirming that the location that I'm at is McRae, and she's getting her bike off and going to go for a nice Sunday bike ride. And I'm going to just do a little quick walk down to the beach. And I got to tell you that I really am taken aback by this place. I mean, I came in late at night after a long, difficult day when I was in Red Hill, and then I pulled into Mornington, and that wasn't necessarily the best of experiences. But now here I am in McRae on the Mornington Peninsula, and boy, you talk about gorgeous. I mean, I've seen a fair amount of Australia. Now, I've seen more Australia than most Australians have seen. And this is probably one of the closest spots that I've come to, at least insofar as first impressions, that it is a place that I could just really see myself or identify with. And boy, it's nice. Look at, there's all types of folks out. Well, not all types of folks, I should say a couple folks that are out for a walk. And here's another little beach box that you can see. Somebody's got a beach box. For all I know, it could be that woman that was just chatting with me. So there's your beach box. Look at this. Just really, really beautiful. Really a special place, and the water is just gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. Next stop on the drive down the Mornington Peninsula is what you see here in front of me. This is the Rye, as in rye bread, the Rye Pier. And yeah, I'm seeing that there's quite a diverse collection of communities as I come down the Mornington Peninsula. You have your quaint little village type communities like Mount Martha, which can't be more than a few thousand people, to cities like Rye, which seem to be a fair size bigger. And I am just exploring. This has given me just a fantastic opportunity to come down and get a feel for what this part of Australia is like. And kind of scoping out, or I forget what the word is in military jargon. I'm reconning or something like that, and just kind of looking for a spot that I might want to come and hang out. And it's really nice as I'm driving down. You know, you could be watching this video years from now, so I'm specifically talking about the current global situation with the pandemic. But I'm looking for a place to just hang out, if you will, just kind of come and spend a little bit of time while the world kind of sorts through this problem that we're facing. And this Sunday drive has really provided a great opportunity for me to get a sense of what my possibilities are. Next stop is Blairgowrie here on the Mornington Peninsula, and I chuckle because I had to ask this gentleman 2 or 3 times, and he's going down with his daughter here to the Blairgowrie pier. I guess this is the pier, and they're going fishing for some squid. That's what's on their mind today. They're going out to go fishing and see if they can't catch some squid. And let me share you the view of this beautiful spot. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Really, really, really beautiful. Isn't that something? So let's go down and check this out. And just as I'm walking up the wharf, you can see there's no shortage of watercraft that you could, I'm assuming, rent. So all types of watercraft, and there's not too many people out today, to be quite honest with you. It's an autumn day, and the world is in a bit of a crisis. But just look at this place, and the water here is just pristine. The water is just really, really beautiful, and I would imagine it would just be a wonderful, wonderful spot. Just be a wonderful spot to swim. And I don't think they've got, I could be mistaken, but I don't think they have stingers down here. I don't think that stingers, maybe they might have sharks, but I don't know about stingers. I don't think they've got stingers here. Well, I've made it to Sorrento, and in doing so, I've also made it to the welcome sign to the 1803 Collins Settlement Site. And I don't know much about the 1803 Collins Settlement Site, but I'm sure it's rather historic, and I'm sure that there's no shortage of Aussies that know what it is. But let's go and take a look. So 180 meters out, you have lookouts and the settlers' graves. I think this was the first settlement, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia. And you have Cameron's Bight, which is 350 meters, Sullivan Bay 250, and Information 50 meters. So let's see, maybe before we're through here, I can tell you a little bit about Collins Settlement Site, 1803, the first official European settlement in Victoria. So that's what the sign would say right there. And here's a map. It was here at Sorrento in October 1803 that the first British colony was established in what is now Victoria. The colony was short-lived and relocated by the end of May 1804 to Van Diemen's Land, Although little physical evidence of the settlement remains, it is a unique part of Victoria's cultural heritage. We invite you to learn more about Britain's first settlement in Victoria and about the Boon Warring people, the traditional owners. Stroll to features including the eastern and western sisters, Sullivan Bay, and Cameron's Bight. So let's go take a look. And boy, it really is. It really is beautiful. Look at this. And I may very well try to get a drone flight up if I can. So they have all types of information that you can see here on the settlers and the indigenous history, a long and fearful journey. Very much like the Pilgrims, if you will. Look at this. William Buckley, 1772 to 1846. You can see. Here's John Pascoe Faulkner, 1792 to 1869. I'm not going to read all of this for you. You can always look up the history if you want yourself. But I'm actually on my way over to the other side of the water here. Australia on the map, the expansions of Europe. Britain transports prisoners. A long and fearful journey. Let's go down and find our way. They have the settlers' graves and the lookout in Sullivan Bay. So I'm gonna just take a look. Look at this view. 1803 Collins Settlement Site. Right here, the path below extends around the base of the eastern sister to the shore of the Sullivan Bay, where the 1803, under the control of Lieutenant Governor David Counts, the first European settlement in Victoria took place. And there it is. Look at that. Wonderful. Actually, that place where I just was before here, Rye Pier, I think it was, or what was it? It was the, I already forgot the name, but there's actually somebody out there in the water swimming. It's better to be safe than sorry, and I say that as I looked at an app that gave me the indication that I could fly my drone over this area, but it said to look at state being Victoria rules. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and forego the drone flight. But you're looking here at the Faulkner lookout. There's a little sign that says, "A Sullivan Bay boy. Strange was the destiny of an 11-year-old boy who arrived at Sullivan Bay in 1803 in October on board the Calcutta with his convict father, his mother, and his young sister. With the rest of the settlers, he and his family moved in 1804 to Van Diemen's Land, where he grew up and was himself convicted for helping convicts escape. He married and became a businessman in Launceston. In 1835, he bought the schooner Enterprise to cross the Bass Strait and settle on the Yarra River. He was John Pascoe Faulkner, father of Melbourne." So there's a trivia question for you. Who was the father of Melbourne? Melbourne. All right. And this would be the site of the early settlers' graves. There are 4 grave sites marked out on the eastern sister. It is probable that a 5th exists nearby, but its location is not known. The graves have been cared for over time by a number of local families. At times, they have been dignified with fences, marked out with staves from barrels or timber, and covered with shells. On one occasion, a small monument was erected, setting out a history of the site. The graves were moved a short distance to their present positions because of a concerned erosion that would result. So there you have it. Look at the graves right here of the first settlers. Isn't that something? And then just up over here in the bush, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's 2 other graves are just right over here. And there they are. And here's another lookout right up here. Leaving Port Phillip, the sign says. Sullivan Bay was a difficult place to which establish a colony. Barrows at Sullivan Bay which supplied drinking water. You can see that right there. And here is the lookout. Look at that. Somewhere up there is Melbourne. That's something. Alright, on with the tour. Just up ahead is Sullivan Bay, and I could have taken the path up here, but I decided to drive up, and we'll go and take a look here. And again, you see different information. No place for a colony. I'd imagine this would be some fascinating stuff to read about. No place for a colony, hard work. The Sullivan Bay settlement. And here's Sullivan Bay. Right there, you can see it. Look at that. It's nice living in the day of the internet where you can watch a video such as you're watching right now, and it can prompt you to go and look at some other information about it if you so choose. So they've got a rather nice picnic area right over here, and I believe that just down they've got a beach. So let's go down and take a look. I've talked to several people today throughout my drive down, and boy, the residents here, they sure do love it. Look at this. Sullivan Bay. I'd imagine after a long voyage across the oceans, when they finally pulled in here, it was probably a relief for a while. They probably enjoyed swimming and all that good stuff. But look at this. Boy, isn't that beautiful? There's nobody here. This would be a paddleboarder's paradise, I would imagine. Alright. And then there's some private residences right there. Boy, what a nice place to call home, huh? Welcome to Sorrento, and that's what the sign said as I pulled in here just a few moments ago. And first impressions are rather nice. It really looks like a nice town. And I'm going to take a moment and just walk down the main street here of this town and see what it is. It's a rather nice town from the looks of it, the main street, and it looks like a rather small town. Here's some guys waiting for a bus, I think. You guys waiting for a bus?
Yeah, man.
Why aren't you riding your skateboards home?
We're just gonna catch a bus to go to the back beach, you know?
Yeah, the back beach?
Back beach. Yeah.
Oh, okay, the back beach. So what are you gonna do at the back beach? Things your parents don't want you to do?
No, I really don't care. We're gonna go bodyboarding.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, mates. All right, so here we go. Let's go check out Sorrento, and it's the Sorrento Brew House is open 8 o'clock tonight. Somebody's playing live, they're saying. But what a nice place! It really does seem like a nice place. Now here's the Sorrento Brew House, I believe, but if I'm not mistaken, most of these places are going to be closed as of tonight or tomorrow night because of the pandemic. So all the non-essential businesses are closing down, but look at the beautiful buildings that they have here. Just really beautiful stone buildings. What a nice little town. This would be a nice place from the looks of it to self-isolate, and I'm looking. Here's a place to grab yourself a little bit of coffee, but I'm just kind of looking and see if I can't find myself a nice place, maybe Flinders, which is more of a village, but this town's looks like some good stuff. Here's a noodle bar. You see that a lot here. You see these noodle bars is what they call them. So very nice. It's rather a windy day. I was down at the beach, and I think that you call that black or back beach rather. I think you call it back beach, and I was talking to somebody and asking them if it's always this windy, and they said that it's actually rather calm today. The weather is rather calm, and I get the impression that this town is a rather upscale town. Really is nice. So I'm going to be catching the ferry here in just a bit. In fact, I'll catch the ferry just straight up ahead as I walk down Main Street, and I see a Tommy Bahama shop over there. If that tells you anything about Sorrento, usually you'll see a Tommy Bahama shop in a rather nice community, such as Naples, Florida, which is just down the road from where I live in Fort Myers. So I am at it's, for all intent and purpose, I believe it's the point, very close to the point here. And on one side of the peninsula is the harbor, Sullivan Bay, and the other side is the ocean. And it's only a very short distance to go from one side to the other. Boy, they've got some nice places here. Baked in Sorrento, the Sorrento Meat Company. Wonderful. Look at these buildings. Just fantastic. I think I'm actually almost to the end. Very nice. This is the type of town, or seemingly so, that I like. They have a cinema right here, Peninsula Cinemas. That'll probably be closing down tomorrow, I would imagine. But just up ahead, I believe, is where I'm going to put my car on a ferry and take it across the water. And there you have it. There's your walk down Main Street, Sorrento. And you can see the water is just up ahead. So I'm going to go back and grab my car and see if I can't find my way down to the ferry. I thought about going up to Portsea, but I'm going to find out about the ferry first. I don't want to get stranded over here. You can see the sign right there will take you to Portsea. So let's go see if I can't find out about the ferry. With time to spare, I made it to the ferry. And I say time to spare in that it's a little bit after 4. And I have to be there at about, I've got about an hour and 15 minutes before I actually get on the ferry and catch the 6 o'clock over. And that gives me a chance to share a little bit more of Sorrento with you. And this would be Sorrento Village or Sorrento Beach, something like that. And boy, it's beautiful. I gotta tell you, this really is a nice place. Look at that. And I'm gonna be crossing that body of water here over to Queens Cliff, and I'll be getting on the ferry right there. But right now I want to take my drone up and fly it around for a little bit. Portsea, Portsea, Portsea. And this is one of those towns that if you are driving through and you happen to blink, you might miss it. I don't see any street signs here, or not street signs rather. I don't see any traffic lights. And I'm gonna take all of 30 seconds, I think, to walk from one side of the main street to the other. And there's a little lighthouse or something, a beautiful view about 5 minutes from here, and I'm gonna try to capture that on my way to get the ferry. So I'm playing beat the clock just a little bit, but we're gonna see if we can't come up. Here is the Portsea Hotel, and I was told that this would be a good shot right here to come up and go to the Portsea Hotel and take a look off the back. And I get the impression that Portsea is just it's a rather nice place, similar to maybe a Carmel, California, if you've ever found yourself out on the west coast of the United States. And let's go up and take a look. Not very many people. This is the Portsea Hotel since 1876. Let's see if I can get a nice view. And here's the view. I walked through the cafe area and there was some music playing, but I didn't want to get that on the video. But this would be Portsea, folks. Look at that. There's your break wall right down there. What a gorgeous spot. Boy, look at this. Is that beautiful or what? What a nice way to spend an afternoon, having a beer or a bite to eat at this really special place. It's been here since the 1800s. Can you imagine that? All right, let's go see if I can see that lookout before catching the ferry. I'm on my way out. I'll share a little bit of the inside of the hotel with you. Look at the ceiling there. All right, boy, what a day, what a day, what a day. And I've got my car parked right here. And boy, to say that this has been an adventure would be a absolute understatement. And there's your sea. And I see a ferry coming back over on the other side. And boy, I gotta give a shout out to that guy that returned my drone. I put my name on everything. And I had put my name on everything, and that guy called me, bless his heart. And I tried to give him a reward, a finder's fee, so to speak, but he wouldn't take it. So on the outside chance that he ever sees this video, boy, I sure would like him to know how much I appreciate what he did. So here is your ferry, folks. Look at that. And here comes the other ferry coming in. And if you got a token or some little change, $2, you can look through here. And if I'm not mistaken, there might even be some dolphins kicking around. So boy, I hope you enjoyed this day. What an adventure. And I took my drone. The guy brought my drone back, and so he brought the drone back, and it's damaged, but I think it'll fly again, and I have insurance on it, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna come in here and share the cafe. Here's your lounge area. You see, keep your distance. Help stop spread. So this would be your cafe. There's actually not too many people on here. Here they've got different information of what you can do in Queens Cliff and beyond. But boy, something else. Really something else. Lonsdale Lounge. I can probably come down here off the back. The children for the kids. What a trip. If you look at the map there's where I'm going. I'm going from Sorrento over to Queenscliff. Maybe I can get a shot of the other ferry. There's a rainbow off in the distance. You can see that. Look at that. And it gives you hope. Isn't that something? Look at that beautiful shot. And then just over here is the other ferry. There you go. All right, folks. I hope you had an opportunity to see some of this beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Look at that. Have a great day. Try to have a great day, I should say, with all the stuff that's going on in the world.